Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bill Wyatt, Executive Director for Airports of Salt Lake City, and it's great to see all of you here today, particularly those of you who are in the midst of building what is going to be America's best airport. Thank you so very much for what you do. We have a relatively brief program, knowing that food is right behind us, and we certainly want to get to that part, but it's really appropriate to just take a moment and acknowledge this extraordinary milestone as we put the last piece of steel in the structure. Keep in mind that just a few short months ago, this was kind of a mud pit, right? And it's hard to visualize what this will look like, and now it really is beginning to look like an airport. I want to acknowledge two members of the airport's advisory board who are here, Leary and Mayor Jim Riding, who've joined us today. Thank you so much for being with us. And we have three other speakers as well. Patrick Leary, the Mayor's Chief of Staff, Charlie Luke, who is the Chair of the Salt Lake City Council, and Brett Okland, who is the Chief Executive of one of the joint venture partners for this project and a Salt Lake-based company. So we're excited to have all of them with us today. Now, most of you may know, some of you may not, that this was actually not part of the original program, the North Concourse. The idea was to build pretty much what you see over there, along with the parking garage behind it and several of the other features, and then continue to use the piers that are over here, the concourses. And it quickly became evident, because of the growth that we were experiencing, that just wasn't going to work. And so finally, our airline partners unanimously committed to building this part of the project, which added, a considerable expense. Nevertheless, they could see the value in this additional development. It's connected by a tunnel, by the way, which comes in about where that crane is back there. Just a short story about the tunnel, because I think it's useful to know. This project, what you see today, was kind of envisioned in the airport's master plan in 1996. And since that day, the airport, the city, have taken all of these incremental steps to allow for the construction of this airport while we operate the existing facility. And the tunnel that joins these two now, I walked across it this morning, was built in 2004 with funds from the FAA, and then just entombed, waiting for this project to happen. And that is a sign of the extraordinary leadership that has imagined this project since those early days back in 1996. Now, we're going to open in 545 days and 11 hours and so many minutes. September 15th of 2020, phase one will open, and then we will begin building the second phase of the project and deconstructing really everything that you see looking that way, so that by the end we'll have a brand new state-of-the-art airport. This is, I think, the first, and I am quite confident, only 21st century hub that will be completely new when it's done. And the reason for that is that other airports simply don't have the real estate necessary to do this. There is a project in New York at LaGuardia Airport that is more expensive, but LaGuardia Airport operates off a 300-acre site in the middle of the urban area. Here we have 9,000 acres associated with the airport, and that's what allows us to do this extraordinary project. Now, a couple of things that I really want to focus on before I turn this over to Patrick is this. At peak, we're going to have 2,000, maybe 2,100 trade workers building this facility, pretty close to 2,000 now. 350, I was told today, are on this site. And these are the people who employ the extraordinary skills that are required to bring this extraordinary and beautiful facility with us. Most of you, I know, are from this area, from Salt Lake, because I get monthly reports on the entire project, including the trades and workforce, and I know that most of you are from this area. Now, in 70 years, I can say with some degree of confidence, I'm not going to be here, right? But I'll have family and friends and others just like you who are going to see this facility and know that you had such an exceptional hand in bringing it to life. Thank you so very much for the work that you're doing on behalf of this community, because this project is going to have an economic impact, a cultural impact on the future of this community in ways that few other projects can, and it's because of your efforts. Thank you very much. And now I'd like to turn the podium over to my friend and colleague, the Chief of Staff to Mayor Jackie Biskupski, Patrick Leary. Patrick?
Good morning. It's a real pleasure and an honor, and I'm humbled to be with you all today to mark another remarkable milestone in the construction of the new airport. In a few minutes, as Bill said, we'll be raising the last steel beam 56 feet up into the air and placing it in its site. And this, as you all know, in the construction business, is known as the topping out or the topping off ceremony, a rite that is traditionally held when that last beam is put in place. And we can trace the roots back to a Scandinavian religious rite of placing a tree atop a new building to appease the tree-dwelling spirits displaced during construction. So it's a pleasure to be here with you as we honor this ceremony. As Bill said, Salt Lake is building the first new hub airport in the 21st century, and this will actually secure Salt Lake City position as a global aviation hub well into the future. In fact, the airport construction is already contributing substantially to our economy. An economic impact study we conducted last summer determined that the final impact of this project on the state economy will be well north of $5 billion. Throughout the construction, the project will create more than 24,000 jobs and generate more than $1 billion in wages. As Bill said, we're over 2,000 trade workers, many of you here today, and we're keeping it local. On this project alone on the North Concourse, 92% of the contracts awarded are from the Wasatch Front area. On behalf of myself and the mayor and the city, thank you for your work in making this project come to fruition. As Bill said, and as you know, when this project's over, many of you will go on to different jobs on different sites, but you'll be able to look back with pride and always tell your friends and families that you had a hand in making this remarkable project come to be, something that not very many people will be able to say. So thank you. Thank you for your hard work. Keep each other safe on the job site. And with that, I'll turn the time over to Charlie, the chair of the City Council. Charlie?
So first off, my name is Charlie Luke. I'm the chair of the Salt Lake City Council. To begin today, I just want to acknowledge my fellow colleagues who are here with us today. Andrew Johnston represents District 2, Chris Wharton represents District 3, Ana Valdemoros represents District 4, Amy Fowler represents District 7, and unfortunately James Rogers, who represents District 1, and Aaron Mendenhall, who represents District 5, were unable to be here. This is an incredible honor, one that I have been fortunate to have been a part of for quite a while from the city side. I started off my career with Salt Lake City serving on the Planning Commission. And during that time, I gained a real appreciation for the skill and complexity of all of the major projects that we undertake in the city, and especially the one that we're undertaking today. The scale here is so big, it's often difficult to fully take in and to comprehend. As Bill mentioned, this project, not just the one that we're topping off, but the one that we celebrated last year, the future construction that will be taking place immediately when this is finished. All of those are very, very symbolic of Salt Lake City and how we operate. The tunnel that was referenced by Bill was part of a plan from 1996. It was constructed in 2004 with the hope, with the vision that what we are building today would work, and it is. So to deliver a construction project of this magnitude takes a full team effort, not just from the people in the city who are coming up with the plans, working with the airport, but really everyone who is here today, from the construction director to the project managers to the union workers to all of you who are waiting for me to finish talking so that you can eat, and everybody in between who come in and day out in all weather conditions to keep the project on time and on budget. You're all doing that. Without you, this would be impossible. The airport, as far as Salt Lake City goes, is incredibly important to everything that we as a city do. It is important not only to the city, but to Salt Lake County, to the state of Utah, to everybody who lives, who visits, who works in Salt Lake City and in Utah. This airport will mean something to all of them. We all will have airport stories, whether it's working on the airport to traveling from and to Salt Lake City. It is a part of all of us, and that would not happen without your work and dedication. So let me add my final congratulations to all of you. Thank you so much for the work that you do. Thank you for the safety that you conduct your work, the safety environment, looking out for each other. It is only with you that this could be as successful as it is. So I'm glad to see that the concourse is on course. Thank you all for your work. I'll turn the time over now to Okland Construction.
I'll be short as well, as many of you workers have certainly earned a good meal today by your hard work. On behalf of the Austin Okland team, we thank you. We usually don't have this much fanfare for a topping out, so we're really grateful for this opportunity. This is significant. Each of our workers, I think, realizes how significant this project is and the impact it can have and will have on our community for many years to come. Austin Okland is fortunate to be a part of this team. Today, as mentioned, we celebrate the custom of topping out, and this may seem like a minor thing, but it's critical and it's important to us, and it's kind of that first major milestone as we gear up and get ready for months ahead that we have to complete this project. We wish to recognize some of those that have been instrumental in getting us to where we are today, including the Salt Lake City Council, the Salt Lake City Department of Airports, Air Ops staff, the PMT, HOK architects and their consultants, AOJV staff, and our friends to the south, HDJV, who have been very instrumental in providing us lessons learned to help us be successful to the north. And of course, our trade partners who have worked through a wet and snowy winter. We're grateful, and they should be proud, and we sincerely thank them for their efforts. The number of workers, as was mentioned, will continue to increase on this side of the airport, and it's critical for each of us to remember safety is a priority. You may see a slogan or a tagline around here that we are all lifeguards. That is true. Each of us are empowered and should have the care and respect to care enough to take care, to not be afraid to speak up and not be afraid to get input from others. We are all committed to a safe construction project and going home to our families each night. We're excited about the great partnerships we've created so far, and look forward to many more in the future. And we look forward to celebrating more milestones in the future. And we look forward to seeing the progress, and as this project is turned over, the impact it will have on our community. Thank you.
Okay, so before we conclude and break for lunch, we have one final thing to do, which is to ask the City Council and the Advisory Board members to join us on the stage over here, and we'll sign the beam and then lift it into place.